The history of fashion design dates all the way back to ancient Rome and has clearly evolved majorly over the past many centuries, each one creating and popularizing a series of popular trends throughout. However, through the rise of the internet and social media, these fashion developments and trends have taken to speeds never seen before, and through a pessimistic eye, the fashion trend cycle seems to be headed towards a downward spiral. Even to those not in the fashion sphere, fashion is a part of everyone's lives since everyone wears clothes. Growing up, I was one of the many kids who had unrestricted access to the internet, and through this, I was able to witness the fever dream that was 2010s fashion. And throughout the 2010s, there were a lot of prominent fashion subcultures. Some that come to mind are streetwear, especially with the popularization of Supreme and the very bold in your face logos. Another one being hipster with the thick glasses, very geek chic. And then another one being grunge, a style inspired by and modeled after Kurt Cobain from Nirvana. Currently in 2024, we are nearing the halfway point of this decade, which is startling. But when reflecting on these past 4 years, it has made me realize how much has happened fashion wise, and where we were fashion wise in 2020 is so immensely different to where we are in 2024 already. Or I feel like when comparing 2010 to 2014, there just isn't that much of a stark difference like there is now. And I think that the obvious culprit to this phenomenon is social media, and namely TikTok and Instagram. Obviously, there's always been these popular fashion styles every decade. Nowadays, not only are trends happening at such a faster rate, these trends also need to be this whole new group and have this whole new quirky little label slapped on it and marketed and cheaply made and then sold, worn maybe once or twice, and then thrown away when that person finds a new trend to indulge in. At this point, it's a well known fact that fast fashion has become increasingly popular recently, with it really blowing up during the beginning of COVID in 2020, where there was a huge rise of people online shopping and purchasing from infamous fast fashion brands like Shein. And it's starting to feel like clothes in general are just going downhill, because rather than focusing on actually producing well made clothing and, focusing on like actually making an inspired design, obviously companies are more willing to make clothes as cheaply as they can and push the prices as high as they can, even if the price definitely does not match the quality, and just throw on every micro trend onto every piece of clothing. One issue of fast fashion is its impact on water health. The fashion industry is the 10th highest user of water, using it to run factories and clean garments. The amount of water used is absurd, with thousands of liters of water being used for a single cotton shirt. Companies will take their business to other countries in order to get people who will work longer for cheaper in unsafe conditions and deal with less strict environmental regulations, which allows them to pollute the oceans with wastewater without repercussion. The question is, though, how is social media aiding with the diffusion of all these fashion trends and causing the explosion of fast fashion? So one of the possible explanations is through exposure. With social media, when you constantly scroll on your screen to see the same item of clothing over and over and over again, even if you didn't like it the first time around, just simply being exposed to it over and over and over causes you to think that you might like it a little bit more than you thought originally, when in reality you've just seen it so many times that you've gotten used to it. Rather than the slow rollout of a fashion magazine or fashion week, which was the standard a few decades ago, we are constantly exposed to new trends immediately thanks to social media, and because of that, we see and tire of the new very quickly. Multiple people being able to communicate with each other online has caused a huge acceleration in the way we consume and engage with fashion in tandem with mass production.